Hi, and welcome to Singing Out, a show about lesbian musicals and only lesbian musicals because makes Mike Pence angry. Today we'll be discussing Liberty's Secret, a 2016 musical about conservative politics, small town girls, and of course, lesbians.
He's like a spiritual washcloth. He can wipe away your sins, but you gotta put in the elbow grease.
It gets better. Kind of. The movie stars no one you've ever heard of as the staff of a Republican presidential hopeful who tried to revitalize his campaign.
Another in a series of humiliations for GOP presidential hopeful Kenny Weston tonight.
By hiring Liberty Smith, 24-year-old preacher's daughter, Walt Whitman lover,
Kind of sounds like that Walt Whitman poem.
and naive ingenue as a campaign surrogate for their clueless boss.
What do you say?
About what?
The girl is your surrogate.
What, you mean for impotency stuff? I don't need...
No, your political surrogate.
Liberty's small-town preacher father only consents to letting her go on the campaign trail if she's supervised by Nicole Levine, semi-closeted communications director for the senator, poster child for internalized misogyny, and judgmental harpy.
You could have at least talked to her.
That girl is not about talking.
These two women grow closer as they travel across America and bond over lying to the American public.
Stay on message, project confidence. Say you think that Washington is rotten. Just look relaxed. But if a questioner attacks, digress until the question is forgotten.
Okay, so this is where Liberty's Secret really hits a sour note for me. You cannot tell an earnest love story starring two people willfully and gleefully lying to the American public for their own gain and expect us to root for them.
Pivot. Remember? Take the conversation from something you don't want to talk about to something you do want to talk about.
Especially not in 2016. I mean, it's kind of clear in the dialogue that Nicole has been having misgivings about the way the campaign has been trending right.
I've been saying this is the perfect time to reboot and move right.
He has a voting record, remember?
And therefore less inclusive. But the songs don't reflect that, and the songs are generally what people take away from a musical. Instead, we have a very upbeat tune about political doublespeak, and a very jaunty, catchy song about the good old days that's...
Let's look ahead to the good old days when life was bright and new.
terrifying. It's terrifying. That said, I think the song You Never Get in Trouble for Something You Don't Say, yes, all of the titles are like that, is an illustration of the best and the worst in this movie. It's bouncy and a lot of fun, but it's about the two main characters willfully misleading the public and reveling in it. The lyrics range from clever
Ideas that once seemed dense will feel like common sense when they've heard it over 1,500 times.
to pretty dumb.
You never get in trouble for something you don't say.
Think you've got it? I think so.
The chemistry between the two leads comes to the forefront, but then they jump the gun by putting the tango
I think so. Okay.
after the first verse.
Miss Smith.
But the two leads do really get to show off, and they're fantastic. It's enough to make me really sad that neither has any other filmography to speak of.
I think
Though the woman who played Liberty was in a production of Carrie the Musical, so I can be comforted knowing this is an unambiguous step up. So as they get closer to an inevitable relationship, and this is another thing that they do right, you never really doubt that the characters could be good together, and the actors have fantastic chemistry. They travel back to DC, where Liberty sees two women kissing at a bar and freaks out. Runs out of the bar, through the DC Metro, and to some woods that are clearly not in DC. This movie was made in Michigan. While she wanders through the woods singing about love that dare not speak its name. No, seriously.
Oh, love, I dare not speak your name.
Nicole tracks her down to the Michigan woods, and they finally kiss. Unfortunately, for them, some lucky jogger comes along and gets a video of it. The in-universe asshole news anchor refers to it as Kissgate. After Kissgate, Nicole is forced to resign, and
I'm really sorry, Kenny. I messed up.
Liberty and Nicole have a fight about Liberty's father being a bigot.
He's not a bigot.
That's not what I
He's
meant
the
to say.
kindest, most generous person I know. If anybody's a bigot, it's you.
Liberty goes off to a Pray Away the Gay camp. Did they have Pray Away the Gay camps for adults? I thought they were more like rehab centers or like seminars and stuff. Anyway, she sticks around just long enough to hear a truly bad song about gender roles that I think might be bad on purpose, but honestly, I'm not sure.
And boys like hockey pucks and pickup trucks and 12-point bucks and getting drunk with all the guys. So it's no surprise. Most of all, boys like girls.
And she runs the fuck out of there. Twirl of diversity! So, while Liberty's doing that, Nicole sings an angsty song in a bar and gets drunk, while Yolanda, the best character in this movie, does the work of actually convincing Liberty's father that homosexuality isn't a bad thing.
And if your God is one who's certain and self-righteous, then Mary never had a son. There's no hope for anyone. Jesus was an atheist, and so am I.
Liberty, having run the fuck away from the Pray Away the Gay camp, heavy on the camp, falls asleep on a park bench and dies, hallucinates, gets enveloped by a white void and has a really awkward conversation with her mother.
What about Daddy? Oh, he'll get over it. And by the way, could you ask him to get over me? I've moved on.
Anyway, Nicole comes and wakes her up, and they kiss, having not discussed their issues in any meaningful way. Meanwhile, on the in-universe asshole news anchor's TV show, the senator is getting slammed because Republican America apparently just needed two conventionally attractive white ladies to hook up to fix homophobia in the party. Has no one told them about Ellen and Portia? So anyway, they get married, sing a song, and the movie is over, having taught us that lying is fine, but homophobia is bad. God, this movie has too much going on for it. And so, plot threads get dropped. For instance, Nicole was thinking about quitting the campaign and becoming a lawyer, which is mentioned twice before she's forced to resign due to Kissgate, and she seems real pissed about that, which, fair, but, you know. Nobody gets any comeuppance for lying to the American public. Nicole and Liberty don't do anything to prove they've changed to each other, and I'm not sure they have. She never really addresses all of the weird gender nonsense that she spouts at the beginning.
My mother's kind of crazy.
Liberty comes to terms with herself via song and dance number and white void of mom. So you end up with this really bizarrely unearned happy ending where they get married and the senator whose presidential campaign they destroyed is happily in the audience. I'm not saying I'm expecting something amazing from, a micro-budget indie movie. I mean, they had to Indiegogo this shit to get it finished, but I feel like the plot and the writing should be the strength of a movie that is 40% green screen. And not for fun robot reasons, but because they couldn't afford to go to any place reasons. I mean, this movie definitely has its fun moments, but it's also got a plot that's rotten at its core.
Rotten to the core.
No, that's not a lesbian movie. Okay, that one's questionable, but still irrelevant. So, to sum up, Liberty Secret has some decent singing, some great acting, some serviceable acting, some fun songs, but it's just not there plot-wise, and the production value is potatoes. Also, this wig. I want to burn this wig. So that's all for Liberty's Secret. Join me next time when I yell about... Fuck.